If you set a fire alarm off every time you step in the kitchen, meet a Man About Style's resident chef.
I'm Megan Sanchez. I'm the chef at Guero. We have grown from a food cart to a brick and mortar restaurant where we've been lucky enough to have local and national acclaim. And in that time, I'd like to think that I've learned a few things as a chef. So here are 7 tips for being a better cook. So this one seems simple, but when you're following a recipe, read the recipe from A to Z. This way you'll know everything that you have coming, and it can help you prep for what's coming up down the road, and it'll help you prepare your mise en place. When you're going to prepare a meal, the first thing to do is set up your mise en place. Mise en place really just means putting everything in its place before starting to compose your dish. So if you have 6 ingredients, you'll pull each of those out. Each individual ingredient, if it has a prep task for it, for instance dicing or blanching, you'll want to do that for that ingredient first, set it aside, pull out all of your cookware and utensils that you'll need, and then you're ready to begin composing your final dish. So when you're working on your home cooking, a great place to start is building a great pantry, and that'll be the building blocks for everything you cook in the future. That starts with your oils. So having all the oils you'll need to do all the different types of cooking is a great place to start. So your first oil that you are going to want to have on hand is olive oil. Getting great olive oil that's fresh, not in a bottle that's too big. And that's because you want to use all of it before it turns rancid. Olive oils, you can tell when they're fresh because the smell of them is literally like a fresh olive, as opposed to a rancid oil, which will smell kind of like a crayon. Having olive oil on hand is going to allow you to saute. You can finish dishes with them for the texture of it and its sheen and flavor. And that is going to be a great everyday oil for you to use. And next up, you're going to want to have an oil that allows you to take food to a higher smoke point. 2 oils that are great for this. One would be coconut oil. Coconut oil is delicious. It has a bit of coconut flavor to it, so you want to be mindful of what you cook in it. I love to make popcorn with coconut oil, lining baking sheets with coconut oil, and have just like a hint of coconut flavor, and really effective for keeping things non-stick. It's delicious in your curries and even for frying, because again it has a higher smoke point. An alternative to that would be grapeseed oil. Grapeseed oil is about a 400-degree smoke point, so you can fry in it, and it's flavorless, so you don't have the same concerns as with coconut oil. Between those 3, you probably have everything you need to cook anything in any style, so have all 3 on hand. So when building your pantry, I think it's great to have a few things that you turn to for flavor building that are to your taste. For me, I love to use fresh herbs, and I use as many as I can in almost every preparation for every meal of the day. I also love to have fresh citrus on hand, so lemon and lime, always have them, always fresh, and that helps me with pretty much everything. And also chilies. If you like heat, and of course there's milder chilies you can use as well, chilies will just help you bring in new flavor dimensions as well as a kick when you need it. So I love to toast my spices before using them in a dish. You'll put them in a pan, you'll add a little bit of gentle heat to it, and things like cumin and coriander, they'll get a little golden brown to them, and any spice you're toasting, you'll start smelling that aroma. And it kind of just unlocks that aromatic essence of the spice and allows you to kind of bring out more of its flavor before using it in a dish. Another thing I love to do in the kitchen is to use a mortar and pestle, or you may know the Mexican equivalent of using a molcajete, which is made of lava rock and just has a rougher texture to it. Both of them use a bowl and a heavy grinding tool to just help you break down foods, and what I love about it is that you're able to control texture and bring texture into a dish you're making. Whether you want to grind something to a fine paste or crush toasted seeds to add a little crunch to a dish you're making, you can always use your molcajete or mortar and pestle to control texture in a dish. So whether you want to use crushed seeds or break down a salsa or smash something to a fine paste, you're able to achieve all those different textures by using a mortar and pestle. The last thing to keep in mind when you're cooking is just to be patient. If you take the lid off of your pot of rice too soon and lose all that steam, you'll regret that. And if you want to flip that steak before it's done, you're going to lose the sear. So remember that cooking's fun and take your time with it and stay patient and eat well. Thanks for listening in on my tips. I hope you learned something about cooking today. And I hope if you're in Portland, you'll come visit me at Guero.